Welcome to my Who I Endorse for President of the United States video. With the title of this clip being called as such, you may expect a full-on endorsement from me, but really the only candidate that ran in this race was Bernie Sanders that I felt that I could endorse. He's no longer in this race, unfortunately, and our president is either going to be Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. I know a lot of you guys aren't happy about that, and some people might even be going third parties. But what I will say, if you're going to go third party to send a message, please don't do it if you're in a swing state. You really need to vote for who you think is the lesser evil to get into office if you're in a swing state. If you're not in a swing state and your state always goes to a certain party, then yeah, sure, send a message. Because I think a lot of people out there aren't too happy with our choices right now. But what I'm going to do now is share with you some cons that I think you guys need to take into consideration for your choice. At the very end of this clip, I'll tell you exactly what I'm going to do myself. First, I'm going to start with some cons for Donald J. Trump, and then end off with cons for the third parties and Hillary Clinton. Let's get into Donald Trump's cons. Donald Trump thinks climate change is a hoax, so his energy policy is terrible. Donald Trump has avoided federal taxation for almost 20 years due to a $1 billion loss on a casino. Losing $1 billion on a casino, pretty sad. Donald Trump's Supreme Court justices will vote to reverse marriage equality where people that are gay or lesbian cannot get married just like everybody else. And you can't help who you love. I'm straight, but not everybody is. And everybody should have the right to love whoever they want. And even though Trump doesn't seem like he cares much about all that, his Supreme Court justices will. So remember that. Donald Trump bragged with Billy Bush on Access Hollywood that because he's famous and has power, he has the right to grope any woman he wants, the right to go for any married woman he wants, even though he's married, showing that he has no respect for women. You can say no one respects women more than me as much as you want, but your actions prove it. There's a difference between locker room talk and talking about forcing yourself on someone. Trust me, I know. I have guy talk sometimes. Totally fine to say what turns you on or even use some of the words he used. But when you talk about forcing it, that's a whole nother thing. Donald Trump says he wants to build a big, beautiful wall, a gigantic, amazing wall, his words, in between the border of the United States and Mexico. But here's the catch. He says that Mexico is going to pay for it. Why would another country pay for our stuff? Sounds pretty selfish to me. We don't have the right to make somebody else do that. It's not their wall, it's our wall. I'll tell you one thing, if that wall gets built, our tax dollars will go for that. You want tax dollars on a wall or something like universal health care education? I'm not sure if we'll get that in this term with either president, but just think about that for a second. There is video evidence of Donald Trump saying that he was happy about the Wall Street crash because he could buy a property, showing that he doesn't have much compassion for a lot of the small business owners out there and all the houses out there that people got screwed out of. It's all about him, and that's how it's always been. So why would you guys think it's any different now? Donald Trump started the disrespectful birther movement, trying to prove that Obama was not a part of this country, was not born here. But it was proven that Obama was born here. But when the whole birth certificate thing came out and proven that he was here, did Donald Trump apologize? No. He said you should thank me for getting that birth certificate out there. Can't apologize. Can't negotiate. What kind of president would that be? All of Trump's supporters seem to say they want him because they think he's an amazing businessman. But if you talk with previous people that did his taxes in the past, they always say that Donald Trump's father was the genius of taxation and business operations and that Trump was barely involved. Even to the point where they say some of Trump's previous wives are more involved than him. So if you wanted an amazing businessman, you wanted Donald Trump's father. He's not alive now. That's who you wanted. All the money that Donald Trump inherited, all the money and loans that he got from his father, the businessman is Donald Trump's father, not Trump himself. He's just a good actor. Donald Trump absolutely hates it when anyone questions him, all the way to the point where he mocked a disabled reporter for how he looked and how he moved, shaking his arms away in a completely uncompassionate way. Just shaking them around. There's a video of it. Just look up Trump mocks disabled reporter. Does that show the leadership you want? somebody that can't handle their authority being questioned by a reporter and making fun of them going into bully mode, that's not a leader I'd want for my country. Oh yeah, and we can't forget how Donald Trump called for a complete and utter ban on Muslims entering the country, basically spreading Islamophobia even if in his own head he doesn't think he was. You're basically saying everyone in a religious group is as bad as each other. There's plenty of different groups. Just vet the extremists. And then started off his campaign by saying Mexicans are all criminals and rapists. I've been left speechless so many times this year. I can't even understand a lot of the support he gets. I don't know why he's gotten this far. I haven't tried to be biased in this list. I even tried to shorten this list. But this is just how it is. This is what Trump does. Alright, now that we're done with that crap show of all those cons for Trump, I guess we'll move on to the cons for the other candidates. You know, that was the initial plan for this video, but I didn't think I could go back to back to back for like 5 minutes straight of cons off the top of my head. That's pretty bad. I know Hillary's not great either, but my God, I didn't expect to be able to go on that long, and that was actually a shortened list of things in my head. I kind of speechless. This election, it kind of sums it up to a T. I'll go ahead and say a few things about Hillary Clinton so it doesn't seem too biased to make sure you guys look into it. Hillary's done shady things as a lawyer. She's shown bad judgment with Benghazi situation that went on with the email server. She's definitely not going to hold Wall Street accountable. They donate to her for a reason. But she can say all she wants about that, but guarantee you nothing's going to happen there. And she's also very military-minded like Trump, and she's not going to do much for the environment, because at one point she even promoted fracking. So those are some things you need to keep in mind. But holy freaking crap. I did not expect to be able to go that long with cons, and honestly, that's just the half of it. This election has pretty much been a laughing stock. It's one of those ones where I don't feel like anybody won. We're just voting for who we think won't do the worst job. So if you're in a swing state, go with your heart and vote for the person that you think is the lesser evil. If you're not in a swing state, vote and send a message. Just go out there and do what you think is important to you. That's my word of advice. I hope it helps. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share. God help us.